Hello, hello. How is everyone this evening? It's like really busy at the Home Depot right now. It's kind of weird. I haven't gotten on since I posted the really sad video about my greenhouse, and I've gotten a lot of new followers, subscribers since then. So I felt the need to at least get on and say hi. Thank you for subscribing. I got a new hat. I am obsessed with winter hats, and I needed a new ponytail one, so I got a new hat. We're at the Home Depot Paul just ran in to get like a bubble wrap type thing, type material. He's gonna put ice inside his deer and then wrap it because it's going to be really warm out tomorrow, and he's not going to be able to cut his deer up until he gets out of work tomorrow night. So 60 degrees isn't exactly ideal for hanging a deer. It's a little too warm. So we're going to be cutting that up tomorrow night. It's going to make for a long night, but it'll be a rewarding night because then I'll finally get to eat the venison. Can you guys hear her? She's yelling. She's really mad because she's in the car right now and it's bedtime, and she likes to be in bed getting snuggles at bedtime. So she's probably going to yell the duration of this video. But I also wanted to show you guys, so that's what we're doing tomorrow. I might get a couple of clips of that, but it's going to be dark out by the time he gets home. So I won't get anything spectacular. Maybe on the next deer. I have 2 tags to fill, so maybe on the next year I'll be able to get a more in-depth video on skinning and butchering the deer. I want to show you guys a couple things that I've canned recently. This isn't like canned. This is that honey fermented garlic I was telling you guys about. That is really good for cold and flu season. I'm excited to put that to use this year. And with that, I can even use that for Kingston, because Kingston actually likes a cup of warm tea before bed, and because he's a really awesome toddler like that. And I figure I could just put a spoonful of that garlic honey in his tea to help if he gets a sore throat, or to help prevent a sore throat. So that'll be nice. Okay, so this stuff, I had to tell you guys about this. I accidentally made this, and I'm definitely going to try to duplicate it, because it was really awesome. It's a broth, okay? So it's a broth, and the white is, I leave the fat in our broth. That's just personal preference, but it's a broth, half pint jar, and the reason it's in a half pint jar, I know I don't think you're supposed to pressure can half pints, but I did it anyways. Do as I say, not as I do. The reason it's in a half pint jar is because it was so tasty that I didn't want to put it in quart jars for cooking with. I wanted to put it in half pint jars for drinking. Because so I accidentally made it. I had beef bones in the crock pot, and I had canned the meat off of them, and then I always can everything in it the first round, and then I put the bones back in, and I do a second round of just bone broth. I put those in, but then I had like a half of a 1 gallon bag of vegetable scraps in the freezer, and I threw those in there too. I was like, hey, you know what? A veggie beef broth would probably be really yummy. So it was like carrots, onions, garlic. I halved a tomato and put that in there. I think that's all it was, and some celery. And so I threw those in there just to see how it would taste. Started it up. I ran it for about a little over 24 hours. And then I noticed that Paul had put aside some chicken broth in the fridge, because he knows that I like to can the broth, and he had just boiled chicken breast. And so it had made a really rich broth for some reason, even though it was just chicken breast. And he put it in the fridge in a container. Yes, ma'am, I hear you. And so I took that container out and I was like, for some reason, my brain was like, put that chicken broth in with your already really weird beef and vegetable broth. So I dumped it in there with it. I reheated everything back up. And then before I went to can it, before I wasted jars on it, I tasted it. Expecting myself to be like, why would you do that, you idiot? And it was phenomenal. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. So I canned it in little jars. I did some full pints too, because it actually has a really nice flavor to use for like French onion pork chops or French onion chicken breasts. So I did half pints and full pints of it, and it is gorgeous, first of all, and it's so delicious. I'm gonna try to make it again because it was really yummy, and probably gift some of that for Christmas. So those are two of the things that I've done. Now I have a question for you guys, because I need to get my stuff together here, get myself together, and start refilling bulk stuff before winter. I need to know what you guys keep in your pantry or wherever, really. Freezer, I don't care. What do you guys keep on hand in bulk, and where do you get it from? Because I know I have this hardest time when I go to make a list. I like forget what we eat. Like I'm like, okay, I need to buy bulk stuff, and then I go to sit down to make a list, and I'm like, what do we eat? What would I buy bulk? It's just how my brain works. I do the same thing when I'm making a grocery list. Like, I sit down and all of a sudden I'm like, what do we buy for groceries? So, what do you guys keep in bulk, and where do you get it? Because I need to make my winter bulk list. I already have some stuff. Like, I always keep flour and sugar bulk, because all else fails, you can bake whatever you need from scratch, as long as you have flour, sugar, and yeast. He doesn't like to be on the camera, so he's looking at me like, please log off. I'll log off and chat with you guys in a few minutes. We're gonna drive here anyways. Hey guys, so it's actually the next morning. We got home and I had to help him wrap up the deer, and then the kids were cranky and ready for bed, so it's the next morning. But I wanted to show you, before I end the video, I want to show you a few of the things that I've canned this year, before you guys go ahead and give me suggestions on what I should be keeping in bulk. So I canned, this is all, I did not can nearly as much as I wanted to this year at all. Like maybe an eighth of what I actually wanted to can. For a few reasons. One, because I was giantly pregnant until August, and two, because it was so weirdly hot here this summer that we had a really crappy growing season. So unfortunately that happened. And so we'll still have to stock up on frozen veggies, unfortunately. We still have fresh stuff growing in the greenhouse, but other than that, we're gonna hit the gardening and preserving really hard next summer. So, but some of the things we did can is, these are apples up here. These are cinnamon apples. This is my first time canning apples, so hopefully they come out okay. They some of them kind of floated to the top. Some of them I didn't soak first, and some of them I did, because I want to try it both ways to see which ones we like better. But I have a bunch of apples done up. And that's because Kingston really likes canned fruit. So that's what those are for. This shelf is also for Kingston. This is all grape juice. So I have 6, 7, 8 quarts of grape juice for keeping in the fridge. So that's potentially 8 weeks of grape juice that I don't have to buy. 2 pints of grape juice, which is, I've been taking the pints out to camp when we stay the weekend out to camp. And then we have a couple of these left, a couple half pints left, and these are actually for road trips or whatever, you know, day trips, also sometimes out to camp. But, so he's got plenty of grape juice going on, and I actually need to make apple juice. I have like 3 1-gallon bags of apple peels and cores, so we really need to make apple juice. Alright, now, I told Paul when we buy a house, we're not buying a house unless it has a walk-in pantry. So we live in and work off my grandparents' property right now. We're getting ready to buy, hopefully this spring. So one of my necessities is definitely a walk-in pantry. So I have all this beautiful canned meat, canned beef. Wish I could get a better picture of that for you guys, because it is gorgeous. Let me see if I can. It's so lovely, and I'm so excited about that, and I have quite a few of those. And then I have quite a few beef broths. Like I was telling you guys, we leave the fat in our broth. I have quite a few beef broths, so you can see back there. I have like 3 or 4 chicken broths, so I do need to make more of those. I did up some little jars of beef for single serve and lunches and whatnot. I did some pints as well. They're back there somewhere. So I also have some pints of broth done up. So plenty of canned meat and broth, plus we have plenty in the freezer that I still need to do up to make room for other stuff, like the deer, although I'll probably can some of the deer. If you guys have a good, like, canned venison recipe, let me know about that, too. These are just some random tomatoes that are kind of floating around everywhere as pickles. And then down here, good Lord, there's, like, no light. I apologize. So, see if I can adjust this a little bit. I don't know. Alright, so we're going to try this for the first time. This was kind of an experiment. We did jars, pint and half pint jars, the rest of them are down here, of chicken and vegetable soup. Oh, there's a more decent looking one. Chicken and vegetable soup. Whole bunch of tomatoes, not nearly enough. We eat a lot of pasta, we use a lot of tomatoes. I did all of my aromas because we actually use a lot of these big jars of tomatoes for soups. So what I did, we don't make tomato sauce, we just can the tomatoes themselves. And so what I did is I put all of my thickening tomatoes, like my aromas, in little jars to add to these big jars if we're doing pasta sauce with them. We do a lot of diced tomatoes in this house. So we have a good amount of those. That whole row, both is diced tomatoes. I think I only have 2 things of zucchini salsa left. Zucchini is like, this is zucchini cherry tomato salsa, and it came out fantastic. I was super excited. That might be just about it. As far as exciting stuff, we have some jellies and jams and whatnot. This is applesauce, actually, from last year, back here, that my grandmother made, and I use that for cooking with a lot. So, and today I'm going to experiment with canning some more convenient soups. As I say, sometimes we don't follow, like, canning regulations per se, but I make sure that everything's sealed and safe before I feed it to my family. So I'm comfortable with it. because I'm comfortable with canning. But to a beginner canner, I would say stick to basic regulations. Don't try to be adventurous until you're super, super comfortable. Lots of diced tomatoes. So yeah, so that's just a little bit that I was able to can while giantly pregnant with a toddler. It's not much, but it is shelf-stable food that we don't need. I mean, we have a generator, but so yeah. So I wanted to show you guys this real quick. And now I need your suggestions. I need, what do you keep in bulk and where do you get it from below in the comments, please and thank you. Also, if you are a new subscriber, welcome and thank you for subscribing, and feel free to share this video. If you're watching this video and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I promise I'll get better at making videos. We are going to order, I'm doing everything off my phone now. We are going to order an actual video camera, so it will be better quality soon. So thank you guys for hanging out with me, and please drop those bulk suggestions, and we'll chat later. Have a lovely end of your work week.